always has to be a shot at somebody.
No.
They're never clean.
They have to run. That's the only shot they have.
They do it for 82 games. We're about to find out.
He already has shown what he's capable of.
Did surprise me. I thought we were going to hang in there.
This makes me think that we do need to be humble.
I actually think you're the only one who deserved that beating.
Yeah, Bailey. Let it play out. We got to make the most of these wins, Sherrod. Let's play that music out.
Come every day.
Hey. You're right about that. But you know what? All we have is today, Sherrod. And today, the Celtics are victorious. Sherrod Blakely, Jimmy Toscano, Boston Celtics with a big win over the now 1-7 Washington Wizards, 136-107. And this probably is how we should have started the show on Monday, Sherrod. But we're not here to talk about Monday. We're here to talk about Wednesday. I don't want to contradict everything we said on Monday. I don't want to be merchants of the night like our friend Bobby, merchants of the moment like Bobby Manning famously is. But hey, credit where it's due. Celtics as a team come out really flat in that first quarter. Jaylen Brown putting the team on his back in the first quarter there, 16 points. And maybe he knocked some sense into them, in between quarters, Sherrod, because they came in guns a-blazing second quarter. Payton Pritchard getting in on the action early on. Josh Minott throwing things down. And obviously Brown continuing on with what he was doing well for this team. And Celtics retake control of the game. And really after that, in the second quarter, we're able to kind of play at their style, their pace, their will, and took it to a Wizards team that, really shouldn't have any business competing with the Celtics.
Yeah, I mean, the one guy, all those guys did a lot of really good things. The one guy you did mention who I thought was a major game changer was Jordan Walsh.
Thank you.
Normally don't talk about Jordan unless
give Jordan his flowers.
Yeah, absolutely. He deserved it. I mean, he was so good in this game. And the thing that he did, his numbers aren't going to do justice to the impact that he had. He had 7.7 boards, but there were so many little things he did defensively. There was at one point he forced a turnover that led to a three-pointer, and next possession made it a one-point game. And that was when the Celtics started to take control of the game and eventually pull away for an easy win. This was, without question, the best Jordan Walsh game we've seen this season. And they needed that on a night when they came out a little flat. And so kudos to Jordan Walsh for stepping up and making use of his moment. And I know we'll talk more about Josh Minott as we
we're going to hit them all.
But I wanted to really jump in on Jordan Walsh early because, we've been crapping on that dude pretty much all season because, frankly, he's played like crap all this season.
Well, he either hasn't played well or he hasn't played. And credit to him for being ready for the call because with Joe Mazzulla, you never know. You never know when you're getting the hook. You never know when you're getting the call. You might get the call and then get the hook before you even get in the game. We've seen that happen this year too. So that bench on any given night, Sherrod, could be any one of them, right? Anywhere from like the 9th guy to the 13th guy could be the guy that night. And tonight, Walsh was one of the guys, and he was a huge part of that second quarter turnaround. And again, it wasn't something that you'll see in the box score except for that plus minus. That's a nice big fat plus 27. And if you're a bench guy, you really do look at that plus minus because you can't quantify sometimes what a bench guy is doing because it's not going to always show up in the box score because they're not being asked to, take 15 shots or score 25 points. They're being asked to play defense, get stops, get on transition, make the extra pass, make the right play, and help the guys, these scorers, do their thing, right? And if you're Walsh, if you're Minott, if you're Queta, at some point, it might be Shireman again someday. Who knows? Those guys have to know their role. And, I put Queta in the mix, but every game, Queta is becoming more and more a part of a bigger piece to this puzzle here. We'll talk about Queta too, because he might have had his best game of his career with the double-double and just his activity on both ends of the court. But the big thing you saw, and actually speaking of Queta, what he said coming out of that second quarter, going into the locker room, was that they were stagnant in the first quarter. And they came out hard. The difference was they came out hard. They rebounded. They played defense. They played good two-way basketball, created turnovers, created points off of those turnovers. And you really did see it kind of a completely different team tonight than what you saw on Monday when Joe Mazzulla even criticized them for their, sort of lack of effort, if you will. I don't know if that was the actual word he used, but it was essentially they came out flat and they stayed that way on Monday. And tonight, yeah, they may have came out that way, but kudos to Jaylen Brown for refusing to let that get out of hand in the first quarter. And, Jaylen Brown, we talked about his first quarter, 16 points. I'm going to pull it up right here. He finishes the game, 35 points for Jaylen Brown, a very efficient 13 of 21 from the field, 7 of 9 from the line, and just 2 of 4 attempts from three, Sherrod. I like that. I like that a lot. That tells me that Jaylen Brown's getting a little bit more comfortable with being physical and scoring from whether it's in the paint, whether it's the 12, 15, 18 footers, not just putting up 10, 12 3-pointers for whatever the reason is. I like seeing these guys work for it a little bit more and make the defense work for a little bit more. Don't forget, that's bailing out the defense too when you're just jacking threes all game and you're not putting them on their heels, not making them play hard and allowing them to get out quickly on the break on your misses. So even though the threes aren't really technically falling that much better, 39% tonight, I guess you'll take that obviously. But we're going to go to Joe here because
that's one of the things they do really well is their movement off ball while the pick and roll's going on. I thought it's just we were just a little slow to make a couple of those reads.
Hey, Sherrod.
And, once we kind of just picked up our shifts defensively and kind of the reads in that, that kind of, sparked our defense.
In fourth career double-double for Neemias tonight. Saw you and Tony talking to him at the end before he subbed out for the final time. You went over midway through the third quarter at that time out to go and talk to him on the court. What did you see from him overall tonight?
He just played well. Again, the bigs, they got a lot to do on both ends of the floor, but timing on his shifts defensively was good. His screening was good. His offensive rebounding was good. He played the way that we know he can. So we just got to keep fighting for that. But he played well tonight.
Josh played a little 5 in the smaller lineup tonight. What led you to go in that direction, and how did that lineup change things in the second a little bit?
Yeah, I think in the 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, it wasn't as good. We got to get better at it. But I think throughout the game, it took away a lot of their roles. Sarr and Bagley are both, obviously active rollers. And, I think that having that in there and their switching kind of took that stuff away, for most of the, second half.
How much have you had to alter your offense as the year's gotten started here? Is anything just kind of surprised you about changes you've had to make there? Anything like that?
No, it's been good. Guys have done a good job. Another game where we haven't turned it over. So that's, goes a long way. People will watch a game and be like, oh, they're missing a lot of shots, but they very rarely watch a game and be like, oh, we're doing a great job not turning it over. And so it's been one of the strengths of our team over the couple of years, and the guys have picked up on that and just continuing to get better in our reads offensively.
Joe, late in the game, you're up 30, and Neemias, Josh both make a couple of mistakes, and you really kind of rode them as they went to the bench. What went into that? What did you see?
I think just coaching them. Those guys want to be coached. They want to be held accountable. And like I said, they've done some really good things for us. And I think in order to get to a place that we know we can get to, we just got to fight for execution all the time. So they understand that. They hold themselves to a high standard. And they did a great job of that. And we just got to keep that up.
And Jaylen, obviously another great night for him. His ability to draw fouls seems to be much better this year, especially on jump shots. What are you seeing from him in that regard? Yeah,
well, I think obviously with some of the offensive changes that we made, there's more dribble drive space, the ability to do that. And he does a great job of just getting guys on his hip and has that space to drive. And so I think with that, you just kind of can draw those. So I think, just the little offensive tweaks that we've made and then just his ability to get guys on his hip and make the right play.
Joe, you mentioned the turnovers 5 for you guys tonight. Why has that been such a strength for this team? What about the way you guys are playing? And is it a buy-in thing? Is it a valuing the ball? Is it schematic?
No, I think it's just the guys. They're pretty good ball handlers. They make good reads. They work at it every day. But it's important. That's something that can really help your offense is almost guaranteeing you're going to get a shot every time down the floor. So we got to continue to fight for that, take care of the ball. and make good reads. So it's a credit to the guys.
And then Jordan was part of that group in the beginning of the second quarter that seemed to kind of turn the game around. What did you see out of him?
Yeah, I thought he was great tonight. I thought just both ends of the floor. His presence defensively, his rebounding, his positioning. He's got good defensive instincts. I thought he played really well. And I thought, I think our defense changed it, but I also think he sparked the change in the game tonight just because of the way he played. It's a credit to him, just staying ready, making sure he's ready at any time.
Joe, Payton did it last year too, but he's done a great job of sort of like creating contact with his body to get those shots down low, the bump shots, the mid ranges. What does that do for your guys' offense when he's able to create space that way?
Yeah, again, just a couple tweaks we made offensively. He's got the space to be able to play, so he can, he's gotten fouled on that one. It's also, he's shooting, really well on his paint shots, I think, right? So just another guy that can, get to the line, and he can also just kind of play off of 2 feet, whether it's a shot or whether it's a lob.
Was that something that you guys wanted him to do more this year? Or is it just a matter of, the opportunities coming and him finding the way to get?
No, I think he's always had that. He's always been a 3-level scorer and played with good pace. I think it's something that he's always had. Yeah.
I wanted to ask about Jordan as well. Obviously, not a lot of minutes have been available for him so far this season, but how have you seen him just stay prepared behind the scenes for when he
Jordan
does get
sidebar.
Yeah, just chips away at it again. Just to
Count it.
That was a high level of professionalism to be ready, and he just every day treats it as if he's going to play. So I think that mindset is kind of what you have to have, and he handled it well, and he's got to keep that up. But he works at the same pace regardless of if he's playing or not, and that says a lot.
One more Jordan question.
The process of kind of watching things unfold, like the second quarter, I think you rebounded him 15 to 4. Like it seemed like the game just flipped. What's that like to watch the guys kind of turn into the team that you're looking to see after the tough first quarter?
Yeah, I think that's, again, it's where I think that's what teams are fighting for around this time, is everyone kind of knows what their identity is, but you're looking to quickly get to the consistency of that, again, it's never going to be 48. Can it be 40 to 44, right? And having an understanding of that. So, again, I think we picked it up there, and we were able to play for about 36 minutes the way that we can. And and every night we'll present a different challenge. It may not be the first quarter, it could be the third. Like, it's a game of runs. The other team's playing well too. It's not that we're, so you have to have an understanding of that, but it's can you manage those better, with the details, the execution, the effort. And, but every night will be a different challenge in that.
It seemed like Neemi took the challenge of opposing Sar.
He did.
A little personal. What was that like to see him kind of slow him down after the first game?
Yeah, it was important. I think Neemi did take the challenge. I think Sar's been playing really well. I think he's a good player and has gotten better. But I think Neemi, took that, like you said, it's a great way to put it. Just took the challenge, and he was great in his individual defense, his pick and roll defense, and his timing off ball. And so, Neemi,
great way to put it.
He's been putting in. He's getting better and better. So he's got to keep it up.
Joe, with some of the roster attrition you guys had over the offseason and the injury to Jason, how has that adjusted the way that you feel like you're coaching with a less experienced team this year? And what's it like to see the early returns?
Yeah, it doesn't matter who's in, who's out. At the end of the day, every team is different. Even if you have the same guys back, it'll be a different team. You just got to coach to the strengths, the personalities, the relationships that you have on the team, and leverage those. And we'll always do that.
What do you feel like the different strengths of this team are compared to the teams you've had over the last couple of years?
Again, from this standpoint, we're forcing turnovers. We're crashing a little bit better, playing a little bit faster. So just each team has strengths. You got to lean into those. You got to build relations with the guys. You got to, just be able to communicate with them and get those guys to play. Thank you.
All right. There you have it, folks. Joe Mazzulla, Coach Joe, after a win. And let's see if we can get this off. There we go. I'm going to keep this. There wasn't actually a lot of Jaylen Brown talk, and to be honest, in that post game from Joe. And we'll get into all the players he talked about. I want to put this back up for a second because I like this quote from our good friend Atulalo. I've never known how to pronounce that, but he's watched his every show with us, so appreciate the support. This year is great for JB transitioning into an older NBA vet / great. He's not depending on being more athletic than everyone else. He can't. He's just taking what's there and cooking. I kind of see that a little bit.
I see it a little bit, but I don't think it's because he can't. I think it's because he's smart enough to know I don't need to.
injury or just
I think part of it
age.
is the injury, but I think a bigger part of it is just him better understanding what he can do as an NBA player, which is part of being a really good NBA vet. I mean, we look at a guy like LeBron James, who, on any given moment, he can revert back to LeBron James from 29 and do things that we haven't seen him do in decades.
Right.
I think it's what the really, really good players and the great ones are able to do. They figure out how to be impactful without necessarily exerting the kind of effort that they've done in the past to be impactful. There was a moment in a game where I thought Jaylen, he had a finish at the rim and he just laid it up. And the way that he attacked the rim was very similar to how we've seen him attack the rim and try to dunk on someone. But instead, he just laid it up. And to me, it's one of those very subtle differences and nuances to his game now that we haven't seen before. And you never want a guy to get hurt. You never want a guy to have to rehab. But I think for Jaylen, in that process of getting that hamstring in and getting his body back to where he can get out on the court, he learned, I think, how to become a more efficient player and use his energy, use his athleticism in a little bit more efficient manner. Because when you're young and you're an NBA and you're supposedly an athlete, you're trying to do everything that athletes do. You're trying to make those highlight reel plays, not because you necessarily want to be in the highlights, but because that's the only way you really know how to play. But Jaylen has had to literally slow down his game in order to get back so that he could play the game. And I think in that process, he's learned how to be impactful, be a difference maker, and not necessarily make the highlight reel quality play that we're so accustomed to seeing from him. And to me, it's going to be a good thing for him and the Celtics long term, because frankly, we're going to see one of those or two of those or three of those Jaylen Brown moments where he's just going to come down the lane and we're thinking he's going to lay it up. And next thing you know, somebody's whipping out the Sharpie because they just got a Jaylen Brown poster up close and personal.
Right. And yeah, we know it's in the holster somewhere, right? We know at some point he's gonna rear back and throw it down. But it feels like he is playing, whatever words you want to use, smarter, more savvy, maybe. And there was another good comment that Bailey had just put up that from Daniel Capital. JB can play his mid-range game without JT. It's that simple. Doesn't have to stand in the corner. Of course, there's that huge difference this season is that, Jaylen Brown is the alpha, is the guy that can kind of do what he wants out there and doesn't have to defer the same way or doesn't have to alter his style. And how many times over the last couple of seasons have we heard him talk about, in a way, sacrificing or, adjusting or fit? How many times have we kind of seen him just sort of disappear from a quarter, just not even get a shot off, right? And so regardless of whether you think that's a good thing, a bad thing, or whatever, it's a thing that does happen. And so this season, he can go into a game, with a little bit of a different mindset. I also think we've noticed that he's playing the game a little bit slower, but I think in a way that's helping him play more controlled too. You see tonight, one turnover. And turnovers were one of his Achilles heels, right? Or his Achilles heel is that, he could just get a little sloppy with it, obviously ball handling and such. But it does feel like he's playing a little bit more controlled, slowing down a little bit, letting the game come to him a little bit more. I agree with that to an extent. And to what the commenter said just a minute ago, embracing the mid-range game. I do think that JB has always loved the mid-range game, but the league has just kind of gone away from it. Maybe it's starting to circle back in a way, right? Everything comes full circle at some point, right? So maybe that mid-range game, if you can get to your spot, why not? We're going to go 2 for 9 from 3, or are we going to go 4 for 6 from, mid-range? I don't want to do that math. I don't know which one's actually better.
Stay away from the math, man. Let's go.
So anyways, that's just, that's Jaylen Brown. And again, another great performance from him. He has been the team's leader, no doubt, this year. The way Derrick White started the season and, so on down the line, Brown has been, the most consistent guy in this team. I don't think there's really anyone who's watched the first however many games we're in now. I don't think you can say much negative about Brown. I think that he's kind of done everything he can to put the team in position as best he can. But the NBA is not a one-man show. I don't care who you are. LeBron couldn't do it. MJ couldn't do it. Jaylen Brown's not going to be able to do it either. but he's going to be able to do as much as he's going to be able to do. And I think that's what he is doing at this point. So some of the other guys are going to have to step up at some point. Again, I think you got some good signs from things tonight. Payton Pritchard came alive in that second quarter. Looked like the Payton Pritchard that we've seen or that we saw last year. Looked like a guy that was a half step ahead of the opponents out there. You know, doing laps around 7-footers, getting to his spot mid-range, posting up, you know, deep threes, hit that big deep three early in the second quarter. I think that really got everybody kind of going, and they were able to turn that game around. I think really behind Pritchard's kind of sparky little play there in that second quarter, and then everybody kind of got in on the action.
Yeah. And the thing about, you know, Payton, and Joe talked a little bit about that, is just his ability to use his strength to create space in the paint. To be, you know, a guy listed at 6 foot, 6'1", and to score the way he does and be as efficient as he is at scoring in the paint. And it's not like he's playing above the rim. It's not like he's, you know, beating guys and finishing at the basket. He's literally just getting in the paint, creating space, and knocking down short jumpers. And that's a really difficult thing to do. But with Payton, he's a guy that has really mastered the ability to create space for himself. And I like when Payton is attacking off the dribble and looking to score in the paint, because I do think that it's a part of his game that I think opponents don't respect as much as they should, because they look at him and think that, oh, he's a three-point shooter. That's what he's going to do, which I think can lull defenses into allowing him to get in the paint, where he can do so much damage. And with Payton, I think the one thing that I've noticed with his game as the season has progressed, and obviously he had some shooting struggles at the beginning, was that he's finding ways to impact winning above and beyond just knocking down shots. And that's the one thing that has always been a great characteristic trait of a Derrick White. Whereas Payton, he hasn't really had opportunities to show that he can do more than just be a shot maker. And he's showing the ability to be a passer. I mean, he had some great passes to Minott. And Payton ranks among the top 5, top 10 players in the NBA in assist to turnover ratio. He does not turn the ball over a lot. And we're starting to see an uptick as he plays more minutes in his assist numbers. So if he's able to knock down shots at a relatively similar clip that we've seen in the past, and he's getting the ball to other guys more, it's only going to help the Celtics become a better team and be more competitive. And again, continue that fight in the East for a playoff spot, because they're going to be one of the teams in that hunt. I don't think there's any question about that. And the play of guys like Payton, the play of Derrick White, Minott, those guys, that's going to have a big part, because as we've seen, Jaylen Brown's good. He's going to be all right. He's going to get his numbers. And his numbers are not necessarily going to be at the detriment of others getting his numbers. In fact, Jimmy, it goes back to your point. He needs help. He needs Derrick White to knock down open shots. He needs Minott to continue to run the baseline, catch lobs, and knock down open jumpers. You need Luka to come in there and give you something on the glass. And same
but
thing
you need points too, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you know, Joe can talk about turnovers, and we will, because that was a great stat from tonight. But you don't win the game based on the amount of turnovers. You win the game based on the amount of points. And it's great that they're playing defense and creating turnovers. And tonight, they actually did create a ton of points off of turnovers. So we'll take it. I think it was, I want to say 30 to, I think they got 30 points off turnovers compared to 3. Yeah, 30 to 3 in the points off turnovers battle tonight, which wasn't a battle at all. So unbelievable performance from the Celtics there. But guys got to hit shots, Sherrod. That's really what it comes down to. And it's a simple game. One team's got to score more than the next. You know, and whether it's the way White started the season or whether it's the way Pritchard started the season, there's got to be more help for Jaylen Brown, because he can only do so much. Now, it's good to see Payton Pritchard get himself going. Still looking to see that from White a little bit. And we got a comment here, super chat that I'll toss up right now. Are the lights too bright for D White? In parentheses, pains me to ask. Thank you, smart girl T. I don't know if that's fair. Yeah, he's playing some pretty brightly lit stadiums and moments. But something's up. So.
Yeah, I think the bigger issue with Derrick White isn't so much whether the lights are too bright, but does he have the right filter to dim those lights so that he can see? Because remember, this is a guy that was the 4th option. Nice. And so there's a certain filter that you're rocking with when you've got 4 or 3 guys that are better than you who can impact the game at your level or more. But now all of a sudden, where you got to get rid of that filter, and now all of a sudden you've got a little bit more light in your eyes, and you've got to be, frankly, a bigger star than you've been in the past. Can he make the adjustment to that? And I think it's been a little bit of rocky. Him being the number 2 guy, I think he's shown moments where he can do what we've accustomed to seeing him doing. But we talked about this on the last Garden Report. You know, his shot profile is different now. And kind of goes back to what Joe Mazzulla was saying earlier about how you can have the same guys on your team, but every year is a different team, different scenarios and different roles. And Derrick White, I think, is a guy that's still trying to figure out how he can adapt his game to the new role that he has. And it's taken him a little bit longer than I think most people would have hoped and expected to be the number 2. But remember, we're like 10% of the way through the season. That means there's another 90% of games to be played. Am I ready to just, just put Derrick in this he can't handle the moment category? No, because there's a lot of basketball left to be played. But that being said, you can't ignore the fact that Derrick has not risen to the moment that he's been given the opportunity to be in, and that is to be that number 2 guy. He's been up and down and inconsistent in that regard. But I do believe that Derrick has shown enough talent, enough potential that eventually he'll figure out how to be effective in that role. The thing that I liked about this Washington game was that I've been feeling these last few games where the Celtics weren't great, that Derrick was allowing his offensive struggles to impact what he does defensively. I didn't feel that. He didn't, again, not a great shooting game, but he had the really nice block. And I thought overall defensively, he looked very much like the Derrick White that we're accustomed to seeing. And to me, that has to be the default mode that he goes into, even when his shots are not going down. Continue to be the all-NBA defender that you are. And even when you're having games where those shots aren't going down, you're still contributing to winning. And that's ultimately what this is about. Can you find ways to help this team win games, whether you're making shots or not? And I thought in this game, Derrick did a better job than most nights this season at doing that, even if his shots weren't falling.
Yeah, I think, with White, it's we've seen him go through these ups and downs, right? We've seen the slumps, and it's a slump. And he's missing open shots. It's not like he's having to work extremely hard for every shot that he's getting. They're just not falling. He got a lucky bounce tonight. Maybe that's something he can build off of. I thought it was interesting to see that, the attempts were a lot lower tonight. Maybe just taking a step back a little bit. Just 8 shots for White tonight, 5 threes. And so, I just think that it's something that maybe he's just working through, right? And you got to give him the benefit of the doubt here, that, he's the Derrick White that we've seen at his best. That guy is still in there, and I'm 100% sure that that's how his teammates feel, and that's how the coaching staff feel. And you just got to give the guy a little bit of time to work it out, and I'm sure that time will come.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he only had 12 points, but he had 8 assists without a turnover, 3 blocks, 3 steals, 2 blocks. He did a little bit of everything for them tonight, and he didn't struggle shooting the ball, in part, Jimmy, because as you pointed out, he didn't take as many shots. And he's going to, again, to me, this was a default game for Derrick White from a standpoint of, even though he wasn't scoring a ton of points or taking a ton of shots, he was able to contribute in other facets of the game, whether it was playmaking, his defense, and that has to be something that Derrick doesn't veer away from. Whether you go 4 for 8, 0 for 8, 1 for 18, will you continue to make an impact on the defensive end of the floor? And I thought, again, this was a game where you absolutely felt as though Derrick White put his imprint on the game with what he did at the defensive end of the floor.
Yeah, we'll give him that. I mean, plus 22, that's nothing to sniff at. But you want to see those. You want to see those numbers creep up. Those 12 points got to be closer to 22. Here's a stat line, Sherrod: 21 points, 5 rebounds, 8 of 12 from the field, 2 of 2 from the line, 3 of 6 from 3 steals. That's a Derrick White type of a line right there. Plus 18. Josh Minott, everybody. Josh Minott in the building. Yeah. That's the Minott line. And this is definitely his best game as a Celtic. I can't sit here and tell you I watched his entire career in Minnesota, but I would venture to guess that this is probably, if not, this is probably his best game of his career.
I believe the 21 points was a career high for him.
There you go. Then. So, and not to cut you off, Sherrod, but the way he did it, from behind the three, great. The alley-oops, I mean, there was like 3 in a row, it looked like that. I mean, this guy's cutting to the rim. He's active out there. You can see his athleticism. And this is why John Zannis is, driving the Minott train. This is why he's the conductor, because of nights like these.
Yeah. And the thing that he did.
JB. We got JB.
Let's go.
JB.
Jaylen, obviously, with the injury to Jason last year and then some of the losses you guys had over the offseason, it's a dramatically different team. How has that adjusted your approach on the court, but also off the court?
Yeah, definitely big difference. Not just, JT being out, but Al being out, gone, Luke, Drew, and Porzingis. So that's, obviously those are some really good players that we lost. So I think all of those guys being missing makes a big difference. But for me, I'm just being aggressive and trying to empower my teammates as much as possible.
That's a
Do you feel like you've learned something either about yourself, your coaches, your team so far through the first 9 games?
I'm learning every day. Still early in the season. I'm learning every day. I'm taking it one day at a time and just putting my best foot forward, trying to come out and play some good basketball.
How much of a difference maker has help been for you this season, especially like being able to be aggressive and get to your spots, as you kind of talked about? You've been so efficient this year, and it looks so easy at times for you.
Health is key. You see a lot of guys getting injured going around the league and sitting out games. I want to play as many games as I possibly can. I had some injuries last year that kind of derailed me towards the end of the season. So health was a big emphasis going into the year. And then the start of the season, into the preseason, I had a hamstring strain. Not ideal, but the medical staff, we managed it well. And I think I'm getting over the hump.
Jaylen, sorry for the unrelated question, but AJ Debance is getting started with his college career. I know you have a relationship with him. He's going to play here at the Garden in a couple weeks. What's it been like to get to know him and help his journey as he gets going early?
Great kid, great family, great basketball player. Obviously doing well at BYU, and I know being a hometown kid, it'd be probably fun for him to get to play in the Garden in front of a home atmosphere.
Jaylen, you found Josh for a couple alley-oops tonight and then the no-look to him on the baseline cut for a dunk. How has that chemistry between the two of you just grown over the course of the season?
It's grown, but it's still growing.
Bobby, we asked about number
still
one.
Figuring out, finding a rhythm and a cadence, with lineups and, but Josh is huge for us. I said that before. So just building that chemistry and helping keep building his confidence. I think he could be a really good player in this league. And tonight's nights like tonight, he showed it. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the season, the rest of the week. Got some big games coming up in Orlando. We're going to need Josh to step up.
Jaylen, you've been drawing a lot of fouls on jump shots. Is that something that you've been trying to work on, trying to feel the contact and rise up through it? Is that a way you're trying to get to the line more often?
Yeah. I mean, by definition of the rule, you're allowed your space. So if I go up for a jump shot and a guy impedes my progress, it's a foul. Last year, they didn't call that foul a lot. Sometimes they even called it offensive. But I think this year we sent in some clips before the season to get some clarity on it because I work on that. I should be able to rise up and shoot whenever I feel like it, regardless of how close a defender is. But last year, they just called it different. I remember one particular play in game 2 against the Knicks in the fourth quarter. I did the same thing on Brunson. They no call. They came down and scored. That would turn the tide of that game. But that's in the past. But they're calling it now, so it's fine.
In the past, but not forgotten. Clearly.
And you know what else was in the past but not forgotten? I don't know if you guys can see this. It happened again with Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
The hair is on the jersey again. Oh no,
Yeah.
Jaylen. Cue up another stream, another haircut coming.
Here, Jimmy, we'll find out a little bit later tonight. What exactly is the internet going to do with that? The internet never loses.
Yeah, it's already going. He did it again. Okay, so we hear from Jaylen Brown there. Before we get into it, we're going to remind everybody that this podcast is brought to you by Prizepicksa. Prizepicksa. You and I make decisions every day. Bailey, hit me with the B-roll. Thank you. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prizepicksa, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prizepicksa, where it's good to be right. Personally, big Prizepicksa guy. I'm all about the football right now. I'm going more on Drake May and the Patriots. I'm excited for where they're going, Sherrod. I don't know what your thoughts are on the Eagles, because they've been a little helter-skelter, but I think overall Eagles fans are happy with where things are at. But maybe you're going more on AJ Brown moving forward because he's had a bit of a down year. It's just, Prizepicksa, it's a great way to follow the action. It's simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in. Prizepicksa also invented flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. It's the place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. Download the app today and use the code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prizepicksa. It's good to be right, Sherrod.
Absolutely.
And Jaylen Brown still can't get over the offseason. I mean, every time he gets a chance, he wants to remind everybody that, hey, we don't have Tatum, we lost Holiday, we lost Porzingis, we lost Al, we lost Luke. We get it. It's a completely different roster now. It's a much less of a roster. And Jaylen Brown has been tasked with, sort of carrying this thing, seeing this string through this year. Let me ask you this, Sherrod. Do the Celtics owe it to Brown? Do they owe it to White do they owe it to Mazzulla to just play this thing as best they can and compete all the way through and try to get one of those playoff spots? Do they owe it to these guys?
I think they owe it to them to a certain point. Like if we're having this conversation and we're coming out of the All-Star break and they're, let's say, at 500 and they're looking as if they're in the 7th or 8th, 9th playoff spot, I think at that point the position would be, look, we've had more than half a season for you guys to get us in a certain position, and it's just not happening. We're going to start playing more of these young guys and just see where they're at. But I do think that for the bulk of the season, they owe it to those guys to at least give them a chance to position this team to be a playoff team. Right? And you look at their record now; they're 4-5. They could easily be 6-3, maybe even 7-2, if really their core guys played a little bit better. And when I'm talking about the core guys, I'm thinking specifically about Pritchard and Derrick White. Those two guys specifically have not played at a consistently good level, whereas Jaylen Brown, I think you can make a case that Jaylen has been playing for the most part at an all-NBA level. Forget about all-star. I think he's been like all-NBA good. When you look at his numbers tonight, yes, 35, 5-5 looks good. But then when you put it in the context of him playing like 25, 26 minutes, that's insanely good to put up that amount of scoring production and getting other guys involved and making things happen on the boards and, being a positive impact player in the thing that counts more than anything else, which is a scoreboard. He was plus 11. So he's been the one guy that I think we probably spent the most time, and by we, I mean just Celtics fans and people who cover this team in general. He was the one guy we worried the most about how would he handle the situation and the scenario that he's in now, which is very different than anything he's had to deal with in Boston. And yet he's been the one guy who's probably handled it better than anyone else. He's handled the fact that he's playing with less talent than he's used to. He's handled the fact that he's getting more attention. He's handled the fact that there are more eyeballs and more scrutiny on his game, particularly when he is not shooting. How is he playmaking? Is he rebounding? What's his defense look like? He's handled all those things, I think, better than anyone anticipated, which is why, as I said earlier, he's playing at an all-NBA level now. I don't think there are too many people who would disagree with that. Now, does that mean he's all-NBA? No. But if you're talking about the top 15, top 20 players in the NBA, top 25, Jaylen Brown is in that conversation easily. And it says a lot about him and just his ability to adapt to a very difficult / uncomfortable situation, which is playing with a bunch of guys who aren't as good as the guys that you're used to playing with.
Right. And again, hats off to Jaylen Brown for, sort of carrying that. You'd like to see it show up obviously in the wins column, but he's going to need help. And so, that's really what this is all about. One of the players that it sounds like he expects to help. And I've noticed Jaylen Brown has specifically mentioned Josh Minott a few times now. And of course he's been asked about him, but he's had, some pretty lengthy responses and he's talked him up. And I think it's in a way, an indirect way of Jaylen Brown almost challenging Minott to, hey, like, I see what you're capable of. Now you need to go out there and prove it to yourself, prove it to me, prove it to everybody else that, what we see you do in flashes, we want to see you do more consistently. We need you to do more consistently. We need performances out of you like tonight in order for us to get to where we want to go. So I think Josh Minott is going to, and credit to Minott, he found an opportunity and now he's in the starting lineup, and probably not many teams around the NBA would have given him that opportunity. He's making the most of it. And a night like tonight, career night for him. Bobby and Noah, by the way, guys, are at the Garden. They're going to be jumping on the show with us shortly. They caught up with Minott along with the rest of the reporters after the game. We're going to hear what Minott had to say here.
Can you share what he said to you? I mean, he just wanted to push me. That's it. I was messing up defensively, and that's really it. He was just very energetically just telling me what I did wrong. That's it.
You're talking about Mazzulla.
Yeah.
Energetic. It's a point where you kind of let up. You knew the game was pretty much in hand.
We never let up, bro. Let me stop you there. Hell nah. It ain't no 30-point let up. Nah, hell nah. So he was coaching me for the future. He understand that maybe the game is necessarily I would consider it won by then, but maybe working for the future, man. There's never a let up, So it's like now we're using that time as a lesson for the future, and that's what he was expressing to me.
Jaylen a couple times for a lob and had the no look on the baseline cut for a dunk. How has the chemistry between the two of you grown?
Oh, you left? I'd say it's grown tremendously, man. Just understanding my space and my spots, and I'm just trusting that he'll find me on those cuts. So and he very clearly did tonight. So I'm thankful.
Played a little 5 tonight. How much have you done that in your career, and what was it like to slide over that position?
I've done it a little bit. I'm trying to work my versatility defensively for sure every day. But I've done it a few times in the past, I'd say. But I'm definitely trying to expand my game to include that 5-man role.
What has it meant for you to have some staying power with the starters there? I'm sure you don't take it for granted, but now to have this extended stretch with those guys, how are you getting comfortable with that group? Some staying power, I don't
take it for granted. I don't consider I have any staying power, man. I'm trying to go out there like the shit can end tomorrow, because it can. It very much can. So,
Joe's loving this kid. Facts.
Trust me with that.
Joe's like, that's my
every time I go
guy,
out, I just assume, it can all be taken because very well can be.
It seems like we see one of those lob dunks from you almost every game at this point. Has that always been a strength of yours, a strength of your game, that kind of above the rim ability?
I'm gonna let you Google it and get back to me on the answer for that.
Check the receipts. Check my receipts.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get them people up there. Some what did they get? It's like a free what on the first dunk. Y'all know what it is?
It's a section.
It's the section. That's what I'm saying. What they get?
Dunkin' gift card.
Yeah. See, I'm just trying to get my people some dunking, man. That's it. Yeah.
Josh Payton's done a great job of creating space with the body this year down low, those bump shots. What does that do for the entire offense's spacing, and how do you play off of that when he's able to create that space one-on-one?
Anytime he can get to the paint, it flattens the defense. So his ability to do that is just exceptional. And once you have to, turn your head and like really focus on, you know, the downhill, you know, traction he's getting, I mean, it opens up the offense for everybody. So, you know, I mean, he's perfected that, you know, so that's something that's really helping us. And, you know, that's something that, you know, it creates offense for everybody, including him.
Were you aware you said a career?
Oh, and that's it for Josh Minott. If you don't know, Google it, Sherrod.
Exactly.
Get familiar. If you ain't familiar, get familiar is what he's saying.
This is what I do, is what he's saying. That that's me. That I am him. Him is me. That's who Josh Minott is. The thing I loved about this game, Jimmy, though, was that Josh was doing the kind of stuff that I wish they just absolutely opened the season doing, and that is utilizing his ability to run along that baseline. It gives you, first of all, it forces the defense to shift more than they probably want to. And if the defense doesn't shift as well as they should, you got a lob threat. And that's the thing about Josh Minott, that, again, it speaks to some of the things that Joe Mazzulla has touched upon when he talks about we're a little bit more athletic now. He's not saying Josh Minott is that guy, but Josh Minott clearly is one of those guys. His ability to play above the rim, his ability to force that defense to shift when he's going along that baseline, which if it doesn't lead to a basket for him, it creates better spacing for Jaylen Brown to beat a guy off the dribble, or Anthony Simons to, pull up for a mid-range. He is contributing in ways that I don't think most people thought he could, in part because he really hasn't had an opportunity until he came to Boston. And so Josh he's doing it the way you're supposed to do it, man. You get an opportunity to ball out. What do? You ball out. But I love the fact that even though he's playing really well and he's got a clear role with this team, he still has that 10-day contract mindset. He's treating these games as if he's on day 9 of a 10-day contract. Like, I might have tomorrow, but I may not have tomorrow. I don't know. I got to ball out now. And you need that, particularly when you have a team that is constructed the way this one is, where you don't have the luxury of going at 60, 70% and still beat a team by 10. There are lots of games we saw last year where Drew Holiday was not playing at 100% Drew maximum capacity. Same thing with Porzingis, same thing with Tatum, same thing with Brown to some extent. They could be, as a group, at maybe 65, 70% of their peak ability and still beat you by 10, 15 points. This team does not have that room for error. They have to be playing as relatively close to their best basketball in order to beat most teams. Washington, they're not very good, and we know that, and they certainly showed it today. But more times than not, the Celtics are going to have to play a certain level close to their ability in order to be successful. And we saw what happens when they don't do that. Utah, a team that they're better than, came into the building and beat them. Utah was on the back end of a back-to-back. Should never happen. Bad team on a back-to-back coming into your building, that's an automatic W more times than not. But and unfortunately, the Celtics felt that way going into the game, which is why they caught that L.
Right.
But why not gives them that I think sense of urgency that I don't think they've always played with because they had so much talent in the past. And it's great to see it pay off for him as an individual with a big night. And for the Celtics getting a victory over a team that they should beat 9 out of 10 times.
I mean, it's a completely different mindset from Minott than it has been for a majority of these Celtics players. And pretty much any Celtics player in the starting lineup over the last few seasons has not needed to have that mindset, right? I mean, They can say what they want, but realistically, these are all proven NBA stars, former All-Stars, current All-Stars, All-NBA, whatever. Josh Minott was borderline forgotten player on the Timberwolves, right? Yeah. I mean, when he signed with Boston, it didn't make a blip on the radar. And I think fans obviously now are learning about what he's capable of. And I think his teammates are. I think even to some extent, Josh Minott himself might be learning a little bit about what he's capable of. And I think that may honestly be the key here, is unlocking that potential and getting him to, carry these performances over to multiple games.
Yeah.
The opportunity is there. He's running with it right now. And I think he's got a little bit of a swagger to him too, right? A little bit of a like smoothness to his answers, right? He's feeling a little bit more comfortable.
We're starting to see it now. Yeah,
exactly.
we're starting to see it now.
And the more opportunities he gets to go up and throw down, the more he's going to feel like, yeah, I belong here. I belong with my head up above this rim. I belong taking these threes. Hit a couple threes tonight. 3 of 6 from 3 tonight. Again, so unbelievable game from him. Derrick White-esque type of a line. I see Noah and Bobby getting set up here, so we're going to have them jump on in a few minutes. Before we do, Sherrod, I want to remind everybody that this show is made possible free to you all by our sponsors. We appreciate all our sponsors. Also coming up, Sherrod, I want to remind everybody the holidays are approaching. We're into November now. Thanksgiving is around the corner.
This is killing me.
Thanksgiving's coming. Christmas is coming. And you got to get your food ready to go. People are coming over. They're going to be demanding food. That's what the holidays are really all about. Friends, sure, family's great, all that stuff, but it's all about food. And this is exactly where we can help you out with Omaha Steaks. Sherrod, everyday dinners and effortless entertaining to unforgettable gifts. Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience. Enjoy USDA certified tender steaks, juicy burgers, cozy and convenient comfort meals, and so much more. And now, during their early Black Friday sale, because like I said, the holidays are coming, you can get 50% off site-wide and an extra 20% off select favorites at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $35 off with the promo code Patriots. That's right. Even on the Celtics podcast, we'll do Patriots reads, Sherrod. At checkout, terms apply. See site for details. I know, and by the way, love Omaha Steaks. It's not just steak, Sherrod. You can get chicken. You can get
We got some side dishes in the mix.
You can get some good side dishes. You got to have it all. Don't be the boring table at Thanksgiving. Get a little bit creative. Bring Omaha Steaks in on it. And again, save big. omahasteaks.com, 50% off site-wide and extra 20% off select favorites. Promo code Patriots at checkout for an extra $35 off. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com. Promo code Patriots at checkout for $35 off. And we're going to get Noah and Bobby on here to talk all things Celtics, Minott, Pritchard, Brown. This has got to be Jordan Walsh. This is what Noah dreams about at night. So we'll have toss them on the screen, baby. Let's get a good look at what I imagine was just an unbelievable night for Bobby, Noah, and the rest of the Celtics fans in this stadium. And I think they're muted. I can't hear them. Sherrod. Can you?
No, which is too bad.
No.
This is
you got us now?
Got him now.
I was saying we were scared. This is about to be a different kind of show.
This was the best night of my life.
Whoa.
I thought it was going to be the best night of your night.
Where's my hard hat? I need a hard hat right now.
The way it started,
Doesn't feel like the best night of my life.
Yeah, the way it started, I think Zannis was like, he was licking his chops, ready to host this show.
Where is he now?
As soon as things started to take a turn, all of a sudden he couldn't make it tonight. I don't know what went into that one, but
can we predict what he would have said? It's the Wizards. Wait till they play the 76ers.
He would have been overruled. Positive vibes only tonight, right, guys? So I'll throw it to you guys at first. Where do you guys want to start with this one? You want to start the second quarter? Do you want to start in the first quarter with Jaylen Brown? There's a number of ways we can go here.
So I'll say this generally about the game, because pregame, Joe got asked about the effort level, which I know you were big on last game. Like, this is the first time all year we haven't seen effort from this group. And I felt like that carried over the first quarter. Like, they weren't intense. They weren't winning the rebounding battle. The Wizards were actually kind of dominating them there. So he goes to Walsh. He goes to small ball into the second quarter. He just started shaking things up. And he said his response to the bad effort in that Jazz game was making 34 subs. And that continued into this one. New guys getting new opportunities, new lineups, Minott moving to center. I like that. And so they're just constantly trying new things here. And he's on these guys. You saw it on the sideline tonight too. Like, when they are not giving it their full effort right now, he's going to pull them out of the game.
Yeah, I think where I would start with this game is when you look at a 30-point blowout, you think, okay, the margin of error was actually really not very slim in this one. I think if Josh Minott doesn't hit those 2 first-quarter threes, they lose this game. Like, genuinely, the game was getting out of reach, and then he hits those 2 threes. Yeah, he hits those 2 threes, and they're still down, but they were down by 11 entering the second quarter.
Yeah.
Like they were still trailing, but that was the difference between it being very, very doable and like a couple baskets and you're right back in it, versus now you're down by 17 and they could not get anything going. So it was one of those moments where in real time you're realizing like nobody's going to really remember these 2 baskets because they won by 30, but that really kind of helped change the game. And then I would just say Jordan Walsh, who I know hasn't gotten a whole lot of love from the fans, and understandably so, he hasn't done a whole lot.
Were you starting to get worried for him?
I mean, that's not how I think about it, but beginning of that second quarter, like I think he was actually one of the most important, sparks to that run that they made. And Joe Mazzulla said it too. I mean, I asked him about it, but I can tell when I asked Joe about a end of bench player, and he's kind of just like, here she goes again. And when I ask him about it, and he's like, this time you have a point. And this was one of those times where he was like, you have a point. But he was awesome in this one. So those are the 2 turning points, I think, in this game. And then obviously no Jaylen Brown. I don't even know where this team would be right now because he has just been everything for them offensively. And he's just been so consistent and so solid on that end. I just don't know how long it's going to last, but
I think that's one of the biggest takeaways to start this year is that he's ready for that, Jimmy. Like he's unbothered by the hamstring early, unbothered by the pressure defenses are throwing at him.
Talk about Jalen's big night.
I mean, that's more than anything John would have to concede to start this year. And again, it hasn't been a great start, right? They're still below 500. So the only thing I think he would have to concede is that Jalen's ready for this. Jalen's poised. And you know what I love most from him? You know what I love most from him out of this one? He took like 1 3 out of his first 15 shots. Like this team needed to get downhill and get to the 3-point thing. I went on a little rant last game. Like it was getting a little out of hand. 0 for 8 start to this one. Like fell to last place in the league percentage wise. Somebody had to force the issue, get them to the free throw line, get some looks inside. And Jaylen actually looks like the only guy capable of that right now.
And Payton has been great inside the arc. Like he really has. Yeah. And I thought I don't know. Have you guys played the Payton sound yet?
No, we haven't. Would you like?
I thought he was. Oh, you could. I mean, yeah.
He was good.
He was insightful, and it was pretty brief.
I like to maximize. I like to maximize your guys' time on the show, but we'll play a couple minutes of Payton, and then we'll jump back into you guys if we're going to talk. Yeah, let's get a first couple questions. Bailey.
Payton, how frustrating were those first 2 early fouls?
Happens. Ain't the first time. Probably won't be the last. So, yeah, just come back in with energy and ready to perform.
How did you maintain that poise and make an impact after that?
Love to basketball too much to like get negative. I want to come in and play and show it. So that's where my mind was at. Like just be ready.
You've been super comfortable using your body to sort of like create space.
This is what I thought was interesting.
Like, what do you think that's done for your offense? You did it last year too, but like it seems like that's been an uptick this season.
Well, I mean, obviously with me not like shooting 3 ball as well to start the year, as efficient as I would like, obviously that would come. But like I know getting to the paint that can be like easier looks and can be like my bread and butter. So. I wouldn't even say it's necessarily like it's a combination of using my body and also with my handle, being able to control it, bump, change the direction off of it, and then get to a spot. So.
Is there any part of that that's trying to get the defender in a spot where they either have to like kind of foul you or just not contest it at all? Like, what are you trying to accomplish when you're trying to put them in that spot?
To be honest with you, I really don't know. It's just like I've trained so many hours that now it's so instinctual. Of like I'm just finding it could be a foul, it could be an opening. It's just like I don't even think when I'm doing a move, it just happens so naturally.
That's beautiful.
Just kind of relief in the second quarter. You see, like everything was working for you. Like that was the guy we saw last year. Was it kind of like here we go? Like
I mean, I feel like I've shown stretches in that. Like you've seen in Utah, like I did that. I feel like I've done that a lot in the first half of games, and then I feel like in the second half I start to end up settling for threes rather than maintaining my aggressiveness of getting downhill. And I feel like when I'm getting downhill. And then the threes come, then it's a lot easier. It's like I'm already in the flow. So I feel like it's a combination. I've had really good halves. I feel like I've yet to put a full game together yet. So looking forward to it when I do.
Why do you guys rarely turn the ball over?
Say again?
Why do you guys rarely turn the ball over?
Why do we?
I knew this was going to happen.
Prefer not to. No, I mean, I try to hold myself
Was
to
that
a
your
higher
laugh?
standard
When
of,
I
like,
said
not
it,
turning
your
over,
laugh?
having a
yeah,
consistent
because I knew
turnover ratio.
immediately what
What
was
a hearty
happening.
laugh from Bobby in the
I
locker
actually
room.
had 2 bad ones tonight. So
I was like, fuck.
frustrated with myself on those ones because those led to,
Bobby.
like, I think a foul on the other end or something like that, and then the other one was just bad. So, if you can always get shots and not turn the ball over, you have a high chance of winning.
What have you seen from Neemias this year? Seems like you guys have always kind of held
Neemias.
him to a high standard.
Sidebar.
We'll
Yeah.
continue to do that because he has a lot of potential to be great. So
He was
we
awesome
need him.
tonight.
We need his presence down low, his rebounding, his shot blocking, and then obviously he shows flashes of doing things offensively that could be really great for us. So he's a young player still, and he's still growing. So we're gonna hold him to a high standard.
Thanks, Payton. All right, that was.
I'm thrilled, Neemi. Not that I want to go down the Neemi road here, but he lost the game against Utah with the last play there, the offensive rebound. So it was nice to see him have maybe his biggest game of his career, maybe.
I'm not gonna put that on Neemi.
Up there.
Damn it, Bobby.
I don't know. He got bullied.
One thing I'll say about Neemi, I got a text this morning from Mike Haraji of The Patch. I don't know if you guys know him, but he said, he looked at the box score of all the opposing centers so far against the Wizards this season, and he said, Neemias Queta, breakout game tonight. He's going to get a double-double because every center on the opposing team has been dominating this Wizards front court. So this is not to take away from Queta. He had an awesome game. I was very excited about it, and I think that they've been a much better team with him on the floor. The numbers back that up, and the eye test matches that. But also, I think this was a good game to get in a good groove against a Wizards front court that has been a little bit anemic so far this season.
What got Payton going tonight? Because we were just hearing from him there.
Payton has been exceptional inside the arc as far as that like move that he makes where he, Jack described it as like a bump, but really it's his handle. He's been shooting like in the 60s from 2-point range. I was looking at the figures this morning, and Derrick White and Payton have both been abysmal from 3, but Derrick is like in the third. It was like 35% entering tonight from 2-point range, and Payton was like 65% from 2-point range. So I think he's very comfortable with those moves, and they're moves that have been a part of his game for a long time. But Joe Mazzulla said at postgame, like the way that they're playing now, there's just more space to dribble drive, and I think it's benefited Jaylen's like mid-range game, and it's also benefited Payton because that's like the best they have right now.
I thought you had an interesting tweet too, because Brown was the only one in double figures late into the first, I think. And you said like they were the only team to start this year that had 15 or one player.
Yeah, this was a fun fact that I had to go manually look through every single team's leading scorer this morning. Yeah. But the Celtics entering tonight, the Celtics were the only team in the league to have one player averaging more than 15 points per game. Every other team in the NBA has 2, 3, 4 players in that position. And obviously it's Jaylen Brown who averaged 26.8 going into tonight. So Pritchard is second. He was averaging 15. I would imagine now he's a little bit above that because I think he had 18 tonight. So the stat no longer holds, but just to try to capture how much of the offensive load has been shouldered by Jaylen so far this season.
The first quarter.
The only team in the NBA. I was mind blown when I realized that.
Jaylen got to like almost 20 points.
I mean, it makes sense.
Join them in double figures.
It does. It makes a lot of sense.
It makes sense, but there are some bad teams in the NBA. Like talk about the Nets, the Wizards. I don't know. I was surprised.
Yeah, and when you started seeing them losing by double digits to this Wizards team early, you're like, are they one of these teams? But they finally created some separation against a team like this that they should be head and shoulders above. And you have, for them, I've said this a million times, for them to exceed expectations, they have to win the games that they should win when they're in great positions to win them, like up by double digits in fourth quarters. You have to beat these kind of teams. Like you just have to take everything that's given to you. And this game should have been a gimme. Jazz game should have been a gimme. There are numerous throughout the schedule that you just can't miss. A couple of Nets games coming up. Like there are just too many good teams in the league to not take these opportunities. Not that the Wizards can't beat anyone or that, you can't get upset by a worse team.
No, they can't.
I was thrilled.
I know. Thank you.
There are certain situations where you can't win.
I know that's hard for you to say. I appreciate it.
I do sometimes feel like games are foregone conclusions,
well,
as this one was.
This one is about as close as it is. A Wizards team, they're 1-7. You've got, like you said, you got the Nets coming up. These are the beatable teams. And the Celtics aren't world beaters, but I don't think anybody should think that they shouldn't beat these teams because they do have Brown, they do have White, they do have Pritchard, they do have, a guy like Simons who we haven't mentioned, who could still score like, one of the better outside shooters in the league. So the talent is still there. It's just they have not been able to put it all together at the same time. Now, the bright spot tonight was that you had guys like Minott, Queta, Jordan Walsh, role players really step up. My question to you guys, going back to Minott, Is this the real Minott? What we saw tonight, is this closer to what we can expect to see? I'm not saying he's going to average 21 points a game.
I'm still scared about the shooting.
This was his career night. Like, he had 21 points.
Right.
Before that, his career high was last week at 15. But if the three-point shot is even half real, then
sorry,
it's
I was
a great
going
sign
to
for
say.
him.
Yeah, I was going to say he's got 2 career nights pretty close to each other here on the Celtics team in the same role. I'm not saying he's going to average 20 points a night, but not crazy to believe he can average double-digit points a night.
No.
Grab a handful of rebounds, hit a couple threes on occasion, and most importantly, just play good two-way basketball. And I found it interesting, and I continue to find interesting, that Jaylen Brown kind of goes out of his way to really, either commend Minott or sort of push him a little bit. It feels like he kind of has an idea of what Minott's capable of, but wants to kind of really get it out of him on a more consistent basis.
I think that's a great point, Jimmy. I think he's exactly the kind of player that Jaylen loves. Like, he puts pressure on the rim, he runs the floor, he plays fast, he plays hard.
Tonight were
Like,
awesome.
Jaylen loves that dynamic, and I think that there hasn't always, like, the style that the Celtics team has played, where they, we've talked about this a million times, but like where they've played a little bit slower, where they've settled for a lot of threes. That's not how Jaylen Brown would want to play. That's not his ideal brand of basketball, and I think Minott is a great partner for him on the floor. Same thing with Ugo. He's gone out of his way to praise him as well. I think, like, they just kind of fit the vision that really aligns with the Celtics team, which I think is why you're seeing a very positive version of Jaylen, despite the fact that this team has struggled a little bit.
Oh boy.
Is he going to be able to shoot from the outside at a rate where teams respect him? And
he's at
so
33.
So far, I think he was 27 entering tonight. So tonight did some heavy lifting for him, but he has not been hesitating. He looks very confident shooting the ball from 3. And I cannot say the same for other guys that have been in his shoes as like a, fringe 3-point shooter on this team. I'm thinking Xavier Tillman or Shea Brissett, some of these guys where like they had the green light, but you could see that they didn't have it.
You feel really good about his shot. I'm still not there yet. What gives you the confidence?
Go ahead, Noah.
What gives you the confidence in it?
First of all, just the fact that he's clearly very confident in his shot. Like, you can see that. You can see that a split second of hesitation with a shooter is very obvious, and he doesn't really have that. And I've also just talked to people around him, talked to people around the league that felt like his 3-point shot was coming around, even though it didn't really show on the floor last year.
I think I'm just stuck with how funky it looks, and we've talked about that
but
too.
But when we talk about Al, it happens.
But
if he can be 33, he'll be good enough. Like, I think that's a line for him.
But Bob, here's the thing about Josh that I think gives a little bit more context to why Jaylen is so in Josh Minott fan club, because Jaylen sees a lot of himself in Josh. When he was first coming into the league, where he was the guy that had this super athleticism, could play above the rim, was basically told not to shoot threes, find other ways to impact winning. And I think Jaylen understands that for this team that he is currently the leader of, to exceed expectations, he needs players to play with a mindset similar to what he wanted to play with. That's why Josh, I think, shoots a lot of threes, more than I think most people feel comfortable with, because he's encouraged to do that. Whereas
and he has to, Sherrod, playing next to Queta. Like, you can't have two guys on the floor who don't shoot any.
Exactly. But I think when you have an all-NBA player like Jaylen Brown telling you, you need to shoot more, you need to do this, it rings differently than if it was just Joe Mazzulla, if it was just one of these assistant coaches. And I think Jaylen is doing that, one, because he really believes in this kid, but two, the kid reminds him of a younger Jaylen Brown in some respects. When you look at the athleticism, you look at the fact that he did not come into the league as a very good three-point shooter. And when you look at where Jaylen's at now, teams are not just going to sit back and give Jaylen a green light to shoot threes all day.
So here's the question with Minott that I think is important this year. Is he just a guy who's going to keep the pieces? Because it's amazing how he has just glued everything together for this team as a fifth starter, as the rebounder that they've needed, as an occasional shooter, defender, rim protector. Like, he's given them the 4 things that they really need and we're searching for going into the season. Is he a piece beyond this year? Have you seen enough to think of that?
That was actually when I was planning my podcast for tonight, I was actually thinking that is going to that is one of the most like important developments so far from the first month of the season, is that they got something here in him, and he's they have a team option on him next season. I would be stunned if they don't pick it up, even though I know it's really early. For a minimum contract in the NBA next year, you're gonna have a really high payroll again. Payton, Brown, who do you put
That's
around them?
That's an auto
Absolutely,
pickup,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Him and Ugo.
Yeah.
I think Ugo is going to be a part of the next great Celtics team too. Like I think that's those.
Queta?
I think Queta. I mean, I don't know if the starting center, but he's at the very least, looks like a
He's got
very
another year in his
viable backup
contract,
center.
too, at the minimum.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah, they've
you
got
bring
some
up-
guys
He's
lined up.
another year next year.
Yep.
You bring up Queta, and we've got a super chat here. It starts out about Simons, but it kind of gets into Queta. But decent win. Patrick Bello says decent win. Want to see Simons get it going early.
I
Queta
know.
is getting
It's a tough Simons one.
Queta is getting better. We need him because Garza looks horrible. Unprovoked shot. at
Garza looks
there.
horrible.
Yeah, easy on Garza. But let's keep this one about Queta. How about that?
That
Talking
reminds me
about
of our intro.
Yeah.
Talking about career-esque type nights. I mean, Queta, 15 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, a perfect 7 of 7 from the field, a steal, a block, and a plus 23. Bobby, he was your 5th center last year. And now look.
Fourth. I'm putting him in at 4th.
He was your 4th. Now he's your
And now he's
first,
your
and
first.
he's actually kind of holding on here.
And I'm so relieved because, listen, and Joe has said it, he has to do so much out there. There's so much responsibility on his shoulders. He's so inexperienced. And you just looked at him this year and were like, is this going to be a disaster? Because, I had every bit of faith in the world in him just based off what I saw over the summer and spending some time with him, and even the bits and pieces we saw of him last year. But it's so different from being the 4th center to the 1st center. You're going against the opposing best guy. You're guarding them every possession. They're hitting you with foul trouble. I was nervous. And to have it go as well as it's gone, I'm so relieved because he has put in the work. He does have the skill set to play a role this significant in the league. And it's gone even better than I could have imagined. Like the per minute stuff with him continues to be ridiculous. And would you love to see him play 30 plus minutes and actually give you
Why do you
everything?
think he's not playing 30, 35 minutes? Is that because he can't?
Fouls.
It hasn't really been the fouls.
He's never really done that in his career, and they want to mix and match a little bit. And I think
Like
it's
24
just,
tonight. Inching
yeah,
up there.
wanting to get to
But they've been so much better with him on the floor. And this isn't a shot at anybody. I mean, the numbers literally back this up. He has the best net rating on the team. And I want to ask Joe this, but I know he would never answer this at a press conference. But is the reason that his minutes are down is because he's just not in shape to play 32 NBA minutes with the pace and
he never has.
He looks very
a lot of guys
windy
haven't, and Josh is
into that-
like, is that what it is? It's just a wind?
I don't know. I mean, he did the halftime interview walking off the court with Abby, and I could barely, you could barely make out what he was saying. He was huffing and puffing. So it could
I
be
will
that.
say he's a max effort guy, so they maybe want to get 20 minutes out of him at max effort rather than 30 where he's loafing a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
That could be part of it as well. But yeah, I mean, even the Eurobasket team he played on didn't push him to 30 plus minutes.
Yeah.
So he's lived in that.
And he had knee surgery this past summer. I don't know.
He's had a broken foot. Yeah,
I don't know. But
he's had a lot of
I'm
injuries.
just curious
in his early
because
career.
they're just better when he's playing.
We heard Joe was asked this question, Minott was asked this question. We didn't listen to Queta. Maybe he was asked it too. But what went into the whole fourth quarter scolding of the two guys? What's the story there? You guys were there for it. Joe yelling at him as they're coming off the court.
Everybody kind of downplayed it. To be honest with you, I didn't notice it. Super.
I did. I took a video. He got lit up going to the sideline. Minott.
That's kind of.
Oh, I thought it was Queta too. It was just Minott.
I didn't see Queta. I just saw Minott in the huddle. I guess they let. Joe's the kind of coach where if they're up 30 and they let a couple baskets go on like a 6-0 run up 30, he'll just explode. Like that's just how it is.
But Joe
I think that's what that was all about.
Joe's obviously tough love, but the players seem to. I don't want to say gravitate towards it, but it seems to be working, at least on guys like Queta, guys like Minott, that maybe they do need to be pushed. Maybe they do need to be coached harder a certain way. And that's allowing them to sort of maximize their potential here. Are you kind of seeing that with Queta? Is Joe having that positive effect on him where he's really coaching him up, it seems, over the last season into this season?
Yeah, I have no problem with that because he can handle it. We've talked about it for a while now. Like, that's what they've been doing with him since he got here.
Yeah, one of the things that I find the most fascinating about covering Joe is that he clearly treats guys differently, based on their personality, based on how they handle criticism and feedback. And one of the ways that manifests is that when we ask about players, there are some guys that he just doesn't want to compliment, and there's other guys that he doesn't really mind complimenting. People have been fishing for Minott quotes. People, including the guy beside me right
Finally,
here. They've been fishing for Minott quotes for weeks now. And Joe was just like,
it's driving me crazy.
There's ways that he can improve. That's literally been what he's been giving about Minott. And obviously we all say Minott's having a great year. He's been probably the biggest surprise of all of these guys that have been fighting for minutes. And Joe does not want to give him the quote. And I don't know what that's about, but it also coincides with, I've seen him kind of light him up a little bit on the sidelines. He's yanked him a couple times. That's not because he doesn't like Minott. In fact, I would say Minott has been the most strong proponent of Joe since training camp.
And
he's like, I see myself in this guy. I love this guy. I would go run through a brick wall for him. So I'm not a psychologist. I don't know exactly what that's all about, but it's definitely been incredibly apparent that he is not going to give us a nice Minott quote, and he's not going to be like complimenting the guy on the sidelines. That is just what the dynamic is that's developing between those two right now. And I think it's probably a good sign for him and his kind of faith in him and trust in him.
Yeah, and he says he has no staying power in that starting lineup, or at least he doesn't feel that way, even though he's
staying power.
Even though it's been like 5-6 games. I mean, he's gonna keep starting, right? Like this is their lineup. So I mean, what a development. I'm not doing a victory lap on Minott yet and saying that they found gold here. Like,
why would you do a victory? Why would you do a victory lap?
I don't know. I should use a different phrase there, but
okay, just making sure.
What are you talking about?
I'm not.
All right, Brownie, take a lap, I guess.
This is where John Zannis pops into the discussion out of nowhere.
I like him in Minnesota.
Is John here?
No, John's not here. Celtics won. He's a million miles away.
Yeah.
I will say though, when they signed him, I sent you that clip of Simmons and Russillo when Russillo said Minott, and Bill was like, "Who?" Like he just stopped talking. He was like,
"Right,
I don't know who that is."
I texted a Minnesota reporter tonight, like, Minott's the GOAT, and he was like, I did not think I was going to be getting that text.
Nobody in Minnesota did.
Yeah.
The fans certainly didn't either. Including, shout out Bailey. No, Bailey is a Minott truther. He sent me the receipts.
What do you think?
He deleted all the negative. I love the potential. I'm not going to get on this roller coaster of, oh my God, he did this night. He's going to be, the next big thing. And I'm not going to
ride the roller coaster with us, Jimmy.
I know. I should just jump on. Why not? What else? I'm not doing anything else. But
we got one more seat.
I like Minott because I like the athleticism, and I think this team has lacked that over the last few years. They're the team that's, had the older veterans, and they win because of, again, good team basketball and outside shooting and all that. But I like a guy that can get up above the rim and throw down. I mean, I loved watching him throw down a couple of alley-oops tonight. I like the two-way play. I think he's a personable guy. It's nice to have a player like that in the locker room, right? Somebody that you can go to for a quote or for some, just
he's
maybe
the new Rob.
Quick casual conversation. Right.
2 days in a row, he started his scrum with.
Right.
What's that?
The other thing to keep in mind with Minott is the cost. You're not going to get more bang for your buck than what you're getting out of Josh Minott.
Unbelievable.
Right, so to me,
and he's just
everything else is just icing on the cake. The fact that he's a good player that you're paying literally the least amount of money you could possibly pay him, and he's giving you your kind of production, you're winning.
This is the roller coaster though. Noah, 3 games before this, 4 for 21. So career night tonight, but he was on a little low before this.
He shot from
the field, over the last 3. So the shooting's everything for me. For him to thrive out there, it has to be. I'm not saying he's got to shoot lights out, but he has to be a threat.
It's critical,
he's been that so far. I also love them moving him to center tonight. I feel like he can give them some good minutes there. He's so active. He's such an above the rim player. They needed those lobs tonight. Someone got asked about it. I think Queta. Did you guys talk about? Brilliant question. Brilliant question.
Thank you. Well, to me, just like when Queta's getting his shots around the rim, like they just look so much better offensively. There are moments when he's off the floor. If Jaylen and Queta are off the floor, it's like it literally has to be like Pritchard doing something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to me, it's like I would think that a point of discussion within that team would be, how can we get Queta going? How can we get some actions, kind of have him rolling to the basket and all that? And he kind of downplayed it, but I never know with that stuff if it's just like the politically correct thing to do is to just say to downplay it, or if it's for real, like not been a discussion topic. So I didn't think too much of that.
Mm-hmm. And we did hear tonight, Jimmy, great that 39% of the threes go down. Like, I've said this too. Mm-hmm. When the shooting comes around, it's going to be a whole different story. They're not going to be one of the worst teams in the league shooting the ball. No. And that changed tonight. They're probably going to be a little erratic out there, but they're not going to be one of the worst teams in the league. And that's going to make a huge difference compared to what we've watched so far to begin this year. Pritchard got going. White hit a couple, right? Brown, after shooting mostly twos to begin this game, got one to go. So it's turning around out there. They don't quite have the shooting firepower I expected this year, and that's why the offense hasn't been as good as I've thought it would be. But I really like
Derrick and Payton, two of the best shooters in the league last year, are in the 20s. Like that's
right. But I really liked what Joe said, and you followed up on it. Everyone's talking about the shots going in or not, and they're not talking about how this team never turns the ball over, which I do think is so important.
And has been a hallmark of their, the Joe Mazzulla era. Like, if people are going to talk about what is the Joe Mazzulla offense looked like, everybody talks about the threes, but equally relevant has been how little they turn the ball over. Yeah,
so I don't know if it's equally relevant, but certainly part of it.
When you look at what's been made them so successful, I would say so.
They've been elite.
It's just not like not to like echo what Joe just said, but like it's not like a fun thing to talk about.
Sure, it's not a topic.
Like,
yeah,
because when you don't turn the ball over, that means you get more shot opportunities. Which so to me the two do go hand in hand.
Yeah,
right.
I think it's the most important stat. Like football, Jimmy, like everything's turnovers.
Sure, turnover. You win the turnover battle in the NFL. Typically, you're going to win that game. And tonight, points off turnovers, 30-3. So the Celtics don't turn the ball over much. Don't allow
forced 19, right?
Right, and then they forced. I think it was 20. I could be wrong on that, but
and I've gotten a little irritated when John's been like, oh, they got to do the gimmicks and force the turnovers, and they are dominating that category. And like, I don't think that's like, oh, it's cool, they're doing some gimmicky stuff. Like, if you're gonna dominate the turnover battle all year long, you're gonna be a good team. Like, I don't take that lightly. Yeah, like if you're forcing 20 a game and you're turning it over 5, 6, 7 times a game, you're going to win a lot of games based on that alone. So I don't take that lightly. Like, that is a big thing that they've been able to do to begin this year. And that's why I stressed it, Jimmy, in my positives. There's been a lot of good to begin this year. There's been a lot of bad to begin this year. I still boil it out like that, like almost a 500 team.
And part of the challenge so far is that they've been forcing turnovers, but they haven't converted effectively in transition, and I think that's just the chemistry thing.
Been awful,
there have been so many breaks where it's like they have an advantage and they just don't get a layup, or they turn the ball over, or they miss a decent look but not a great look. And to me, that's just chemistry, and that's just innate. Like, if you're two guys that have played together for 2 years, you know how to run that break. Like, it's going to get way better throughout the season, because early on they have not been capitalizing on those opportunities the way you would expect them to.
Has Walsh earned some more playing time here? I mean, I can't figure out how Joe determines who's going to get the call, who's going to get the opportunity on any given night. I don't know why tonight it was Walsh over Shireman, or do you guys have any insight to that?
I think he's just been like, Walsh had some good moments in that Houston game, and he's been on the reserves. And when when he puts in like an Ugo and a Baylor and they don't make something happen, he has no attachment to any one of those players right now. One of the challenges in the Utah loss is that he gave everybody a 7-minute stretch and nobody really did anything with it. And I thought tonight he puts Jordan in to start the second quarter, and he was pivotal. He got some big defensive rebounds. He got a steal. He had a strong finish. Like, he did a lot of little things that were, extended his run, and then he plays 23 minutes.
Was this his best game ever?
I think this was his best game ever.
That's crazy to have 4 guys in one night. I mean, they legitimately might have.
Queta, Minott, Jordan,
and
I think it's just those 3.
Queta, Minott, Jordan.
Forgetting someone
who had a career game.
Well, Jaylen was great, but that was not a career.
I think of it.
Not the shot you
Queta,
down.
Minott, Jordan. Yeah, we'll just leave it at 3. 3's good.
I'll just shut down.
Washington's the ultimate.
But yeah, it was good Jordan minutes.
And does it continue? I don't know. Like, nothing seems super sustainable with this team.
You know why
they don't have a rotation?
You know why it could continue is because what made it good for Jordan Walsh wasn't anything crazy. He didn't need to go out and drop 20. We're not talking about a 25-point Jordan Walsh.
7 points, right?
We're talking about 7 points, 7 boards, an assist, hit a 3, a couple steals. Most importantly, a plus 27 in 23 minutes.
God.
So, again, as far as a bench guy, role player, deep depth guy goes, that's the Mona Lisa.
The takeaway is that he's alive, and I'm just like, hallelujah! Like
he is alive and well.
He's active. He's alive. You can use like I was starting to get scared. I know you said you don't think of it this way, but like as 10 games go by here, and he's just had no minutes on this team. Like John had a little rant about it last night where he's like, where are the young guys, Shireman, Walsh? Like you want to see these guys. You want to see them show that they're NBA players, and to be buried on this team.
You want to find out
open opportunity. That's tough. So the fact that he had, I hate to put it this way, but he has a pulse. Like he can get out there and do some stuff. Like they weren't using him at all to begin this year.
Yeah, I mean, and now it's Chris Boucher is the one that I think got the DNP tonight.
That bums me out.
So it's there's going to be an odd man out
They
any
can't all
night.
play.
And I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care who it is, but somebody needs to give them a lift every single night for them to win a basketball
And it might
game.
just be who has the most
So,
energy.
yeah, maybe it's Ugo one night, maybe it's Baylor one night, maybe it's Jordan one night. Ideally, they all get their opportunities because I'm rooting for all of them. They're all, young guys trying to make it in the NBA, but I don't think it's going to be the same guy every single night. The one that separated himself is Josh, and he has some things that he can do that the others can't. Obviously, the rebounding has been so much better with him on the floor. That's like the main thing that I think that he gives them. But the rest of them right now, who do I feel best about long-term? Probably Ugo. Like he's shown the most and he's the youngest, but there's going to be more Jordan games. There's going to be more Baylor games. Like that's what this
Nobody's
team
going to be
needs.
buried. Even they've tried Boucher in a couple spots recently. So
Yeah, last game
everybody's
was
gotten
Boucher,
their opportunity. And that's how it's going to be all year long for this group. They're going to need everybody top to bottom on the roster, especially with the amount of energy that they're expending. I bet an underrated part of tonight is that Walsh just had more energy, more stamina than everybody because he hasn't played.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fresh. So they were able to get some fresh legs with him, and that made an impact.
Well, guys, you'll be happy to know, especially Noah will be happy to know that there will be no blame pie to go around tonight. However, we are going to play
I like that. What a great night.
This might be the first brownie of the season. So,
Might be.
It's fitting on a night where Jaylen Brown goes off for 35 points that we bring out the brownie originally in honor of Jaylen Brown so that we would talk about him. We've talked about him plenty. We'll start with you, Sherrod, since you're my OG on the show tonight. We've been through it all. Give me your brownie. Your brownie award winner.
It's a tough one this game because there are a couple guys I think are deserving, but I'm gonna go with Jordan Walsh.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Jordan.
No, I'm not. I have somebody else.
I'm going with Jordan simply because he's the one guy that I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to have a conversation about the brownie and actually have Jordan Walsh be part of that conversation. He was good.
First career brownie. I can say that for sure.
I mean, I think about just when this game officially started. The tide turning in Boston's favor was when they were down by 4. He forces a turnover, leads to a 3. They're down by 1. And then in the second quarter, at that point, they just started rolling up the lead. And he had a lot to do with that. His ability to rebound from his position, I thought was huge for the Celtics. His defense, knocking down, a couple shots along the way. This was the Jordan Walsh game that Jordan Walsh needed
Jordan Walsh game.
badly.
Wow.
So
We've had an Ugo game. We've had Jordan Walsh game. Yeah.
I wish John was here.
Oh, my God. We're going to start calling him Michael
I
Jordan
miss
Walsh.
John.
All right,
you got,
Noah, you can go next.
Okay, mine's going to be Payton Pritchard.
I knew
I
Disable the
should've.
comments. I don't want to hear it. Payton had a great second quarter. I'm so sick of the Payton Pritchard backlash. I'm scared to talk about him, but he had a great second quarter. I think overall he has been an underrated, consistent player for the Celtics team. Ahmed, please. And honestly, the 3-point shot's going to come around. And when it does, you all are going to realize what a great year he's having because he's showcasing how he can score at all 3 levels with really good defenders, with being probably the number 2 guy in the scouting report right now. And tonight was another night where, what was he, 7 of 12 from the field, 18 points. He's doing it kind of behind the scenes, but it's critical. And the thing that he brought up post-game, the assist to turnover ratio that is a hallmark of this team is not turning the ball over for years now. Even before he was a rotation player, Payton Pritchard has been near the top of the league in assist to turnover ratio, and he continues to be there this season as well. So come back to me in like 2 months, everybody's going to be talking about what a great year he's having, because I'm really impressed by what we're seeing. And I think tonight was another solid night from him. And the 3-point shot is going to come around because he's a good 3-point shooter.
And I love that he's just not just waiting for it to come around.
No.
Like, go get some twos, go to the basket.
And I love the twos.
They had more free throws tonight too, Jimmy, right, than we've seen from them recently. Did they win that
Is the
battle?
chat mad that I brought up Pritchard again? I'm scared.
The chat's
All-star?
always mad. Don't worry about
The chat's always mad at Pritchard.
For somebody who's scared to talk about Payton Pritchard, you sure do talk about Payton.
You have no problem.
Well, I gotta be
Yeah.
authentic, you know?
Fearless.
I guess. Yeah.
Fearless commentary.
It's always like,
All right,
every time I
Bobby.
see this stupid host, she's talking about Payton Pritchard.
I'm going
No, listen.
Queta.
To answer your question,
Queta,
Bobby,
man.
Celtics were outnumbered in free throws 21-27, but they got into the 20s, so we'll take it.
21's a lot for them. They'd averaged 19 coming into this one, last in the league. Good to see them just a couple guys get some free throws to go through, as we said with Derrick, and then that have lead to some threes. I think that's actually like a lineage that works there. I'll go Queta here because I think he embodies this award with this performance here. He's not one of the like 3 key guys, Brown, Minott, Pritchard. He just did everything beneath the surface. And so much of it for him this year is just the center on center matchup. He doesn't get to roam this year. He doesn't get to float around, defend off a bad shooter and cause havoc. He actually has to defend the Alex Sarrs of the world, the Embiids, those kind of guys. And he's doing a decent job with it. I bet the numbers against those guys are solid. Sarr had a big night point-wise, but it diminished as it went on. The rebounds he grabbed, the plays where he'd get a stop on one end and then get a putback on the other side. Joe keeps discussing those as like a sign that Cade is having a good game when he's able to play 2 ways in one sequence. He did that a couple of times tonight. Obviously, he just stuffed the stat sheet too. I keep trying to compare him to Luke because I want him to become Luke, but he's different. Like the rebounds come a little more naturally.
There's only one Luke, man.
He does pass well, but like he's not like as strong of a facilitator like on the ball.
Luke was a gifted passer.
Luke was a very gifted passer, so it's tough to reach that
I was just
level
talking about it
there.
with my dad this morning.
And then defensively,
You guys
that's
did
still where he
Sherrod.
struggles most at times. You had a Luke conversation this morning?
You got Sherrod off the whole damn show.
He's like, you had a Luke conver. Yeah, my dad and I were just.
Look at Sherrod, man. You made him upset.
Why can't
Someone
we
had
let
to bring
Luke
up Luke
live?
tonight.
My dad and I were just talking about what a
and live
gifted
his life.
passer Luke Cornett was.
We're
My
gonna
dad
be
was
talking
like,
about Luke for years to
yeah,
come.
he's a great player.
God.
He's been hurt. Did you see that? Have you checked in on him?
bummer. I haven't checked in on him yet. I might take a trip out there though, go see him play.
He's your third spinner.
I'm sure.
But what can we say?
Are we gonna
Queta
raise
been?
the Luke banner?
Luke's family
I
has
would. I do that.
What would we say?
blocked
Queta?
Bobby's number.
I was gonna say Luke's family has so much.
Free. That's not
Yeah.
that funny.
Luke's family has a restraining order against Bob.
Hey, Luke, did your whole
Get her
family
off the
get
screen.
androids? Everything's coming up green.
What percent of Luke has Neemi been? Once you can start breathing again.
All right.
I don't like this whole Zoom function going on tonight.
Yeah, Amit's getting funky with the
Yeah.
camera back there.
What percentage of
camera.
Luke
I'm
has
not
Neemi
answering
been?
that question. I'm not saying what percentage of Luke Neemias.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
go
what is that?
70%.
What does that even mean?
That's not how it works.
I'm gonna go 70%, and that's great. Like that is amazing to get that out of Queta so far. We'll see if the chat agrees with that. But
Listen, Cade is good at what he does. Cade is got that more athleticism to him. He's a little bit more fierce, rips down the boards.
Bailey, can we get a poll going?
I love what Cade is giving the Celtics.
it's not
Bobby,
that funny.
that was a good pick by you. To be honest, good pick by
Thank
everybody.
you.
I was going to go with any of those
Great
3
picks
players
all around.
or my pick, which is Josh Minott. So everyone's going to get fair representation tonight. All those 4 guys.
Great
I
choice,
think
Jimmy.
Get a piece of the brownie. If we had played credit cake instead, I have a feeling they all would have been part of the credit cake. So,
So why can't we play credit cake after wins? I think
can.
starting next win we should. Starting next win we should.
No, we have a credit cake. We have a credit cake thing, but it would have been too obvious. You would have just given 25% to all 4 guys.
Jaylen would have gotten a lot. So.
Jaylen would have got one. Jaylen would have been in on the action too. So Minott gets
Jaylen, top 5 in scoring in the league.
Minott gets his Brownie Award for all the reasons we just talked about. What is he, Bobby? Top 5?
Top 5 in total
Are you
points.
sure? Oh, total points.
Yep.
No,
Showing
we can't
up
do
every
total
night.
points.
Yes, it does. Because showing up I get really mad about this. Showing up every night and accumulating
Apparently.
total points matters. Doesn't it?
I mean,
It
I'm
matters,
all
but-
for Jalen getting his flowers, but
It matters. I just think
generally,
there's
look at
some
points
teams
The
figures.
like
guys
this-
who play more games are going to get more points. That should
Right.
count.
Right, but Bobby, let's remember.
Payton led the league in scoring a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, and that's a huge credit to him. Sorry, Jim.
I think there are some teams that have like played 5 games, and the Celtics have played like 9. So like again, like I get it. To your point, yeah, total points does matter, but I think that's a little.
9.
I think that's a little loop. Anyways, we're moving on. Jaylen Brown had a great night.
I was going to say, you don't want to have this argument.
This is about Josh Minott, 'cause this is my time now, okay? We
Go
already
ahead.
talked about him, so I'm not going to rehash everything we said. But if they can get Minott playing good two-way basketball and playing athletic, him and Jaylen Brown can get a nice little thing going. And I love what I saw from Minott. I love the fact that he's under control for another season at low money. I think that he is somebody that they do have plans for in the future. I think he would have been great on this team last year. I think he'll be great on this team next year if they are able to get a couple other pieces to come in. Whether or not he's in the starting lineup, I don't really care. I think he's probably a perfect like 6th or 7th guy off the bench for you and can come in, give you that jolt of energy, play two-way basketball. Obviously, he can, defend. And I like his attitude. I think he's willing to learn. I think he's willing to work. I like that he treats every game like it could be his last. And so he's the perfect Brownie Award winner. Hats off to him for a career night. And so that'll do it for the Brownie.
Perfect. He's going to be the barometer for this team in many ways. When he's playing well, they're going to look great. When he's playing
I
poorly,
think Kate
it's
is
gonna
the
be
barometer
tough.
still.
A little bit of both of them. They're like a collective unit at that 4 and 5 spot for sure.
Kate is a barometer. Minott's the barometer. You guys are our barometer. How about that? If you guys are feeling good, me and Sherrod are
A lot
feeling
of joy over here tonight. We're
A lot
we're
of
upbeat.
joy.
I had a lot of caffeine.
A
before
lot of
the show.
caffeine contributed to it.
We're going to wrap it. Is there anything that we should tell all those people watching us to look out for either tomorrow or down the road here? Where are the Celtics at next? Where are you guys going to be? What are we doing?
You're heading to Orlando.
I'm headed to Orlando for 2 games and then Philadelphia. So 3-game road trip for the Celtics. So I feel like I've been traveling a lot to start the year. Or maybe
Another
I'm just
Philly game?
Not used to it. Another Philly game.
Another
Many
Philly
times.
game as well, yeah.
I might go to
Unbelievable.
Disneyland.
I was just going to ask you, are you going to go to Disney World? It's
Maybe.
not Disneyland.
Maybe. Oh, is it Disney
MGM.
World? My bad.
Have you ever been?
I was at a bar there.
You went to a bar there?
That wasn't really
Over the
Disney
playoffs.
World. That was like downtown Disney.
I don't know. But anyways, I don't know if we
You haven't
anything
had
else to plug.
breakfast with Mickey? No? Okay.
Breakfast
well, no, you've
with
got
Mickey.
you've got your podcast that you're going to be plenty of
Oh,
positives tonight.
Lots. I already pre-wrote my description. 6 positive takeaways from this game.
She has an essay coming on this
Yeah.
game.
And you guys
Gonna
know
be
I
the
really
longest
struggled
show
with
of
the
the
last
season.
one. So it's
Yeah.
going to be.
We got a couple of things cooking over here. AJ DeBansa, I think you guys probably heard the question live, but
We
we're
did,
gonna
yeah.
have him coming up.
Completely threw off the whole press conference.
Sometimes you got to do it, Jimmy. You know how it works. I can't get a one-on-one with Jalen.
I like that you apologized for it ahead of time. That was nice.
I know. It probably was going to irritate I hope you
Yeah.
didn't think I was insinuating that they're tanking for him.
Well, the whole
but
chat did.
Yeah.
Oh.
The whole chat
So
said Bobby's
here's
in
why I
tank mode.
I'll explain it to
You can-
everybody.
I'll tell him in Orlando what happened.
Tell him what the deal was, because he is coming on the Garden Report this week. We're going to have him on at some point as he gets ready to play in this building. BYU is going to play UConn here. So he'll be coming on the show. And we have an interview with Chris Boucher coming out as well, who I wish was playing a little more. But
We love
that's all
that.
coming up.
Look at you
during the road
guys.
trip here.
Look at you guys getting the big interviews. Love that. Okay, well, that'll do it for us. Again, we want to thank Prizepicksa for being our great sponsor. Prizepicksa, it's good to be right. Make sure you log into Prizepicksa, sign up, do all that good stuff, get your discounts, win your prizes. I want to thank Sherrod for jumping on me to start the show and hanging out with us. I want to thank Noah. I want to thank Bobby for hanging out. I want to thank Amit behind the camera, especially for the solo shots that he was giving us
Brilliant
tonight.
work.
Brilliant work as always. We'll see
Brilliant work all
everybody
around.
Friday in Orlando. Noah's going to be in mouse ears. Is that what I'm hearing? Maybe a little bit of mouse
can
ears
you-
going on.
Can you?
If I can expense mouse ears, I'll buy them.
You can
You've
expense
got
it.
to
Okay.
You gotta fill the
For
Bobby
Jimmy?
role with
Okay.
the.
Jimmy's got it covered.
Look at
Someone's gotta wear a hat.
And we're
Go, bye,
showing
Jimmy.
showing the retired. We get the retired numbers up on screen right now.
Where's Luke's number?
And there it
Where's
is.
he coming from?
There it is,
Whoa.
Sherrod, right in the corner there. There's
40?
number 40.
Yeah.
Luke
I
to the
can't wait for the day.
Raptors. Unbelievable.
You know what is exciting?
It could happen.
Luke's gonna be able. Jimmy, one day Luke's gonna come back, whether he's playing still or retired, and everyone's gonna say, hey, "There's Luke. He was a big part of that title team that year. He'll never lose that."
You think so?
Regardless of what happens from this point here.
And then you wake up.
I think when he's on the show.
That was a great dream.
And then you're like, yeah, that was a really good dream I had. I want to go back to sleep and dream about Luke some more. All right, we're going to
That was
call
like
it.
my Cavs dream, beating the Cavs.
Good night, everybody.
That'll do it for us. Celtics 136-107. Bailey, hit us with the outro. Peace.